America's future has changed. Every aspect of society, including education, has been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. In-person learning was halted, and entire communities were affected. As we continue recovering from the impact, education practitioners are finding new, creative solutions to help students achieve academic excellence, boldly improve learning conditions, and create pathways for global engagement. Journey with the Best Practices Clearinghouse as we focus on the field to showcase innovative implementation stories and best practices that a diverse set of education practitioners across the country are doing to raise the bar in education. These innovators will share strategies, lessons learned, and hopefully inspire you on your own journey towards recovery. These are their stories. As we focus on the field, we travel to Yakima, Washington, and the virtual STEM role model project that Educational Service District 105 is doing, focusing on providing mentoring to migrant and farm worker students.
The Yakima Valley sits at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in south central Washington. Yakima is primarily known for agriculture. We happen to be the apple capital of the United States, growing between 10 and 12 billion apples per year here in the Yakima area. We are also one of the hop capitals of the world, cherries and grapes. So lots of agriculture here.
I grew up in Yakima, Washington. I grew up in a farm worker family, so I could relate to a lot of the students that we are serving here in this project. I understand a lot of the challenges and unique needs that they have growing up in a farm worker family.
Balancing school and agricultural work can leave little time for migrant and farm worker students to explore post-secondary education or career pathways in critical fields such as science, technology, engineering, and math.
For a lot of our students, when they're not studying or when they're not in school, they're working to help contribute to their family income. So for a lot of them, when it comes to summer vacation, spring break, that sort of thing, they're oftentimes out working with their families, which can make it difficult to also balance school and work.
What do we need to do about that? How do we better position our students with the competitive advantage that they should have in order to move into these jobs?
To promote equitable access to STEM career pathways and improve diversity within STEM fields, Educational Service District 105 created the Virtual STEM Role Model Project. This project is a research study funded by the Education Innovation and Research Program from the U.S. Department of Education, examining the impacts of mentorship on migrant and farm worker students' interest and involvement in STEM pathways.
One of the things that we found coming out of the pandemic is STEM fields were insulated from the downturn in the economy, and so we really are working hard to make sure that our students can step seamlessly into these STEM career pathways.
We want these students to have some sort of contact with these careers, with these pathways, with these possible companies, with these universities and programs that are out there in our region.
They don't know who to go to talk about after high school, or they just go into the work field in the fields as their parents do. So sometimes parents don't have the answers, so we're here to provide those answers and those options for after high school.
For a lot of the students, they lack the representation of seeing people who look like them, who grew up in communities like them, going on into these careers.
Our goal, of course, is to find those professionals or those near peers that look just like our students. One of the things we talk about often is if you can't see it, you can't be it.
Talking to the parents, it's like, well, why do you think this program will help my daughter? Why? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? This will help them understand more about STEM, open more doors for them, learn about what's out there so they can be successful, and maybe eventually, from all these sessions, something good will come out of it, and that will start getting them thinking that this is the right path for me.
Role models for the mentoring program include college students and technical or trade students, known as near peers, who are enrolled in STEM programs at colleges and universities. STEM professionals who are already employed in STEM-focused careers also participate. Together, the near peers and STEM professionals host virtual sessions during which they talk with students about their goals, post-secondary, and career options, specific challenges, and how they've overcome them.
In those sessions, the students just learn about what the presenter does for a living, whether they're in a specific career, how they got there, where they studied, or what they're currently studying right now, how they ended up in their current post-secondary institution, and also just like if they are a near peer, what is it like?
Usually the presentation itself is about 45 minutes. There's a 10 to 15 minute question and answer designated time at the end of each presentation. All presentations are after school and work hours to cater to the STEM professional schedule and the student schedules.
We have students in the control group and we have students in the intervention group. The students in the intervention groups are the ones attending these sessions. They need to attend 8 sessions per school year. Those students started off as either 9th or 10th graders, and we're going to be following them until their 11th and 12th grade year.
The Education, Innovation, and Research Grant Program, or EIR as we affectionately call it, explores new ways of addressing persistent challenges that the field can build upon. And when we say the field, we're hoping that educators, policymakers, both the state and local level, other researchers are able to take the evidence that comes from our various projects and be able to replicate it, scale it, and be able to use it real time in their work.
It's fantastic that we have funds from the U.S. Department of Education to actually fund the research portion of this work, to add the additional staff and the bandwidth that we need in order to make these connections, to actually run the day-to-day operations, to identify STEM role models and professionals.
It's nice to be able to use the experiences that I have had and education that I have had in a way that encourages others and shows others that they can do the same, and that what my path has been is attainable for them too.
I've learned so much from a lot of people, so I want to give back to the community and let kids know, hey, to give them the reality of what's out there as far as technology and, how much money you make, how it will benefit them and how they can help the community.
I feel like it allows me to see and take notes from how they went through their challenges and how they faced them. Because like me, a lot of them are immigrants. So I am able to relate to them and be like, wow, that's very inspiring to me. My first choice in a career path that I would like to choose is actually being a math teacher and a leader to other people so that they can probably relate to my story.
Whenever we engage with students, we want them to know that we're there for them. Like, hey, how can we help you? Do you want to be a nurse? Okay, have you thought about what steps you can take to become a nurse? So for them to know that we really care about their goals in their life and themselves.
We have one vision, one goal to help support students and pursue that STEM field that sometimes students might not want to initially pursue. So I think this is a great opportunity if you want students to not only look at colleges, but STEM fields as well.
In-demand STEM careers are available right where these students live. When STEM career pathways are strengthened by opportunities like the Virtual STEM Role Model Project, technology brings families together and can help create stronger communities.
One of the things that led to the Virtual STEM Role Model Project was around awareness of all of the great STEM career pathways that we have available right here in South Central Washington. A lot of people don't realize Washington State is usually 1 or 2 in the country around STEM jobs. Usually people think about the I-5 corridor, so they think about the Microsofts and Amazons and all those. But here in Eastern Washington, we too have a thriving STEM industry here.
Students can not only be field workers, but they can be the managers, the engineers of those agricultural farms, hops, cherries, apples, pears, you name it, we have it. In Yakima, it's just some kind of legacy that they can build here.
We've relied heavily on the fact that we braid funding from different stakeholder groups who are all committed to this same work in order to really meet the outcomes of the Virtual STEM Role Model Project.
Early in the project, the staff of the Virtual STEM Role Model Project encountered challenges with recruiting students to join the program, and their incentive programs didn't work. To address these challenges, Educational Service District 105 worked with the U.S. Department of Education on a new approach, partnering with trusted community members to explain the project to students and increase parent buy-in.
for someone who is moving forward on a project like this, the first thing that I would say is dig into the community. Find out who are those stakeholders who share a common mission and vision and a passion for the success of those students.
Some of our most amazing partnerships, I would say, has to be with our school district personnel. Those individuals are the ones who are actually in the buildings to see the students.
I'm a migrant ELL advocate, so I advocate for these kids and their families to make sure that they have the resources and what they need so they can succeed, get a degree, get out of the fields. Being a farm-working migrant family instilled really great morals and values, but I wanted something different for my 3 kids. When my oldest daughter was getting ready to graduate, something clicked, and I'm like, we need to break the cycle.
I'm hoping that by participating in this project, they're able to feel a little bit more confident. They're able to feel like that they can pursue these same pathways and achieve the same things these individuals have.
I was struggling a lot on what I wanted to do and like how I had to do that. Because you don't get really a lot of answers to those questions here. So being in those programs, it helped me a lot.
I told my parents about the program and why it was important to me to be able to do it. And they were like, pues échale ganas. Si te va a ayudar en tu futuro, entonces hazlo porque nosotros te amamos mucho y queremos que tengas el futuro más brilloso que puedas tener. Which basically means that my parents were like very supportive. They said, if this is going to help you in your future, then do it because we want you to have the brightest future that we couldn't have.
There are a few things that I would hope to see at the end of the virtual STEM role model project. First and foremost, of course, is evidence. What works or what doesn't work to change the attitudes of the migrant farm worker students in the rural populations towards STEM careers and the impact of doing so virtually. Whatever the findings from this study, whether it's positive impact or statistically non-significant findings, we learn as a field.
The Educational Service District 105's creative virtual STEM role model project, which provides mentors to migrant and farm worker students in Yakima, Washington, is a prime example of the innovation needed to advance educational equity and inspire others to think outside the box, raising the bar to prepare students in leading the world. For more information about the Virtual STEM Role Model Project, please visit the South Central Washington STEM Network website. The U.S. Department of Education is committed to supporting states, districts, and schools in advancing these key focus areas, achieving academic excellence, boldly improving learning conditions, and creating pathways for global engagement. The Safer Schools and Campuses Best Practices Clearinghouse is operated by Synergy Enterprises Incorporated under contract number GS-OOF-115CA, awarded by the U.S. Department of Education, Office of Safe and Supportive Schools. No official endorsement by the U.S. Department of Education of any brand, product, commodity, service, methodology, technique, or enterprise mentioned here is intended or should be inferred.